Hi everyone, today we are diving into the world of stroller wagons with a detailed look at the Wonderfold's W4 Luxe. If you're a parent with multiple kids, or maybe you're just looking for a robust wagon to have for family outings, then this wagon might be the wagon for you. But in today's video, I'm going to go over all of the pros and cons of the Wonderfold Wagon Luxe that seats 4 kiddos and tell you what I wish I would have known before I purchased this wagon. Now let's explore the pros and cons. Let's talk about how spacious and comfortable this wagon is, particularly for older kids and multiple kids. The way we have our wagon set up right now is that our 5-year-old and our 2-year-old can sit on this side. It is plenty of space for their feet to go all the way down in here, and they're very comfortable. They can sit next to each other just fine. I have it set up where just one kid sits on this side right now, and that is for our baby to sit in. He's 6 months old at the time that I am filming this video, but you can have 2 other kids on this side and make it in to a 4-kid wagon, and we have done that when my niece has been with us in our wagon. And the nice part about having a wagon when you have different ages of kids is this wonderful wagon, you can switch the orientation of the seats. So when my son was a little bit younger, we had this seat right here flipped the opposite way so that he could be looking at us, we could look at him. So when our baby was younger and was not able to sit up as unsupported as he is now, we would sit this seat like this so he could be inclined back, and then we wouldn't have to worry about him struggling to sit up because he was still so little. So if you have a baby and some bigger kids and you're looking for something that works for both, I definitely think that this hits the mark for that. Now let's talk about these tires. I have to say, these are probably the most aggressive, large tires we have had on any type of stroller wagon that we have used personally, and I think that they are definitely necessary. If you have a wagon with heavy kids in it, these allow us to go through grass, through bumpy areas, things that are like off-roading, which is amazing if you are planning on taking this anywhere where it's not just a flat, easygoing sidewalk. You need some tires as big as these other wagons that we have used that do not have these type of rubber aggressive wheels on them. You just could not push them. I would be getting the kids out, I would be taking things out to just pull the wagon along, and at that point, what's the point of having a wagon? Now these ones in the back stay stationary, so the ones in the front turn, but you also can press a button on them to make them stay straight. So if it's really rough, you can straighten that up, but honestly, we have not had to do that. The way that it is typical is the best way that we have found, and we really haven't had any issues with the terrain when it comes to the tires. But stay tuned because we will get to some of the issues we've had very soon in this video. While we are sitting on the floor talking about the wheels, let's go to another big pro of this wonderful wagon, and that is storage. This wagon has so much storage, which if you have multiple kids, you know how important storage is. It has pockets on both sides of the wagon right here that you can put things in. And when you buy the W4 Luxe, it automatically comes with this storage bin right here, which is large and can hold lots of things. Before I get into how big that is, let's take a look at another really cool piece of storage that comes on this wagon. On the front of this wagon, you will find this pocket right here, and it is an insulated pocket, so you can put food in it if you would like to have it stay a little bit cooler for you. I love it for putting some snacks in here on our way to the park, or if we're going to the pool, things like that. This pocket has been great, and the kids can easily get into this pocket, which makes it very nice. And then there is also a zipper right here that leads to the bottom of this stroller, so you can put any kind of storage underneath the kids' seat. Again, if we're going to the pool, the beach or something, I always like to stick our kids' towels right here. They go beneath their feet and they're just out of the way, and it takes up no space. Let's head over to look at the storage that will be near the handle of your Wonderfold wagon. So this is the side of the wagon that has your handlebar, and like I said, the Wonderfold W4 Luxe will come with this storage tote right here for your wagon, which you can keep attached when you fold it up and everything. But this right here is something we purchased separately. It is made by Wonderfold, but I will show you that next, since it does not come standard when you purchase your wagon. But as you can see, there are two little holes right here, and this is actually to store your sunshade in it. And that is how you can easily store your sunshade away if you are not using it. And then you have the three pockets right here. These two are mesh, and then a larger one right here. And then inside here is just a huge open area that you could stick anything in. A lot of times I just stick my diapering things in there so that I have it with me. Right now I have some different attachments that I have used throughout the year, or throughout the years of having the wagon. I also have some extra strap attachments that we're not using. I just leave them in here for storage. I also have my little bag that came with our Wonderfold wagon. And in here, it has some extra pieces that they have that I'm not using, and I just keep it in there. But we could easily fit change of clothes for all of our kids, extra snacks, a bunch of stuff can go in here, and it's so much storage space. I just can't get over how good the storage is for this wagon, especially when you're comparing it to strollers. Now up to this part right here that I said I purchased separately. This is their little caddy, and it has another mesh pocket here, a mesh pocket here, and then this is actually a place that you can put wipes. And I have a wipe container that Wonderfold wagon actually put with this that you can put your wipes in. We just don't have it on there right now. Since I don't typically carry those wipes all the time, I prefer just to stick our other wipes in the stroller and not leave anything in here because they would just get dried out. So this caddy has the 4 insulated cup holders, and then inside this pocket right here is extra storage. And then we also have this zipper pocket right here, which leads to that white container. Now, like I said, this is not something that comes with the wagon when you purchase it, but if you are interested in adding this on, I will be sure to link this wagon, also this caddy, in the description so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The last storage part, which is probably my favorite part of the storage, are these mesh pockets right here. They're on both sides, and our kids love them because they can put their toys in here and they don't get lost when we're out and about, whether it's on a family walk, whether we're going to the park, theme parks, the beach, pool. They like these pockets because they can put their favorite little toys in them and they don't get lost in the bottom of the wagon. Now let's go over to another pro that is very important to me as a mom with very little kids, and that are these 5-point harnesses that come on the Wonderfold wagon. I like that you can have your baby strapped from each side, both shoulders, and then between the legs, and it is really easy just to snap it all together. Once you get a hang of it, they all just come together. Now they come apart just like this, and then they all just slide together, magnet together, and easily snap in there, and then you do have to press both sides at the same time for it to release, which is nice. My kids, my younger kids haven't figured out how to undo it. My 5-year-old can get out of anything and he's 5. But it has been really nice because, like I said, when you have a really little kid and you're trying to make sure that they're secure, nice in their seat and they're not going to be bouncing around everywhere, having that 5-point harness makes them very secure in their seat, and it gives me the peace of mind that they're not going to just fall out of their seat when we're walking around. Now, another way you can use your wagon is to take all of these seats out and then just use the bottom of the wagon for cargo, for storage. But another great idea that I love is if you take everything out of these seats out of the wagon, and then you can use the bottom of this wagon kind of like a traveling bassinet or a little play yard. So if you have a little kid who maybe, you know, an infant like I do, or like I did, and you want to take your big kids to the splash pad, then you can put your baby in here with some toys and a nice little area for them to hang out and play while your big kids are playing at the park or the splash pad. It is a great idea if you have a wagon and you've not tried it before. It's something that I highly recommend. So I showed you how you can store your sunshade away. Let me show you really quickly how you set it up. It really is just that easy. And then you can put it as high or as low or vice versa as much as you want. It does have these clips right here to lock it in here, but this is not a tutorial on how you set up your wagon, and I can make one of those if you would like it, but I would like to tell you why I think this sunshade is so great, and that is because you can move it any way you need it to be to block the sun out depending on where your kid is. And that goes for if you're walking around, or even if you're just set up one place and letting your kids sit in the stroller. Maybe you're at a parade, maybe we're back at the splash pad like I mentioned earlier. This sunshade being able to move makes it so nice, so you can cover any part of the wagon that you may need depending on where the sun is. And because you can adjust the sides accordingly, you can put this side down or leave this side up or vice versa, so it can help with the sun even if it's coming in different directions. You can put it all the way down like this, so sometimes when I'm using it, like I said, kind of like a traveling bassinet and letting my younger kid hang out in it while maybe my older kids are playing at the park, I like to put this all the way down like this so he can be in the dark if he wants to take a little nap, and I don't have to worry about the sun beaming down on him while we are hanging out. And then in the winter, when the sun isn't as strong, or maybe we're having a cloudy day, I just typically leave it stored back here so that it's not in the way at all whenever we are getting the kids in and out of the wagon. Now, we're probably gonna get into a little bit of controversy when it comes to wagons, particularly the Wonderfold wagons, and that is folding the wagon. Let me show you how you would fold up this wagon. It's not the easiest thing, but it does fold fairly well, I think, for a wagon. You have to flip these sides in like this, and then on this side of the wagon, there is a handle right here, and you pull it, and then your wagon can pull up. Once it's unlocked, then you can pull your wagon together all the way to close it. You want to push it together until this part right here gets on here, and that is what locks the wagon together. So just like that, now it's locked together, and then this is how it closes up. I will say, I don't really complain about the size. I have a large SUV. When you have multiple kids and you want something that's going to transport your kids around, you have to be okay with it taking up space. That's like the only way it's going to work, is it's going to take up a lot of space. That is honestly my biggest con of the wagon, is just the fact that it is so cumbersome to take apart and put back together, and it's heavy. It is heavy. So we fold this up like this, and then we just will actually lift it into my car just like this, and it fits. I have a Suburban, so it fits in my car. My husband has a truck. There's no issue with it fitting, so for us, that's not a big deal. But if you have a smaller, even a mid-size SUV, this might not fit in your trunk if you are planning on like taking it with you and going around, pulling it in and out of the back of your car. So please look at the dimensions before you decide you're going to purchase this. And then, like I said, it is really, really heavy. This is not something that I like to get in and out of the car myself. I am not like the strongest person ever, but it is heavy to lift. I mean, I can lift it. It's just not fun. So most of the time we only take this out is if we're going out as a whole family and my husband is coming with us, so I can get the kids situated getting out of the car and he'll set up the wagon for me. That's what works best for my family. I just wish it was a little bit easier to set up and it wasn't so heavy, because little old scrawny me has a hard time setting up the wagon by myself. I think I forgot to mention this, but I want to make sure that I make it clear about how heavy this wagon is, but it is about 63 pounds, everything together. The seats, the actual wagon, that is fairly heavy. Most jobs don't require people to lift more than 50 pounds because like that is like the standard of something being considered heavy. I want to reiterate to you guys how heavy this wagon is. And I'm a little bitter about it if you can't tell. I do use it a lot. I just don't put it in my car, like ever. Let's talk about some more cons that might change your opinion on whether or not you want to purchase a Wonderfold wagon. Whether it's the W4 Luxe or any other wagon they have, they're all expensive. I know this is one of the more expensive ones, but it's not just the wagon. If you're buying the wagon, you might want to get the cup holder for your wagon so you can put your cups in it. They have the little areas for your kids to have all their snacks. There is a bunch of add-ons that Wonderfold Wagon offers that can add up very, very, very quickly. I definitely don't think that this is a wagon that is easily affordable for most people. I think it is something that if you really, really want, it could be a great investment, and you might want to purchase this wagon because of all of the great pros that I shared at the beginning of this video. Just know it's not just the wagon. If you want to really use it full, it's full capacity. Like I have been thinking about buying the cover for the wagon that makes it stay warmer in the winter, since we are in the full thick of it here where I live. It is very, very cold outside, and we are getting ready to go to all the Christmas parades this year. So that is another very expensive item. Now, if this is something that you are planning on purchasing, maybe look at not just the wagon, but also all of the other things you would want to buy for your wagon. While we have already talked about how great these wheels are, the combination of the weight from the wagon and the weight of our kids and the fact that it is just a large wagon can affect how nimble it is to push the wagon, especially in crowded places or going up bumps and up hills and down hills. It's really not the easiest thing to push if you have it full of heavy kids. We have a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a baby. And with our 5-year-old in our wagon, you can definitely feel the weight difference. And if you have to go up a hill, it is not fun by any means. Another really big downfall for me that I did not realize before I had purchased this wagon, that I wish I would have just done a little bit more research about. I haven't found another wagon that like solved the issue, so I'm still kind of looking, but that is the strap setup. Like I said, I like this 5-point harness setup right here. This super easy to use. This is absolutely great. It all just snaps together, really easy to put together. What I don't like is this. If you have to adjust the size of the straps for your child, if your child is too small or getting too big, if you want your kid to wear the straps, it is the biggest pain in the butt to move these straps. You have to unvelcro this right here, which is a really strong Velcro. And then you have to stick your hands up in the back of this to pull the straps through the other side to then adjust them. I have very small, very skinny hands, and my hand barely fits in here to try to adjust them. I think I struggled for a good 15 minutes just trying to adjust the strap to like this so that my baby could be strapped in this nicely, which I already said was really important to me. And that is one thing I actually like about this wagon, which if you do it one time and then it's done, that's fine and that's great and you don't have to worry about it. But if you have multiple kids, or if you're letting other kids you care for, or maybe your family's kids, siblings, things like that are using your wagon too, there's no easy way to adjust this. Like, you're adjusting it for one kid and it's staying there until they grow out of it, or unless you're just not going to use the straps, that's an option as well. But there is no, let me put my 2-year-old in this seat and then let me switch it to my 6-month-old. That's not happening, because it is not easy to adjust at all. It is a pain to adjust the straps in this wonderful wagon. The Wonderfold wagon W4 Luxe is definitely a great option if you are looking for something with a lot of space, a lot of storage, and if you have many kids like me, this is a great option, but there are some big cons. And if you can't get past the fact that it is very heavy and very expensive, then you might need to keep looking for some other options. But when it comes to wagons on the market, I definitely think this one stands above the rest. If the price alone is an issue for you, I would definitely look at some of Wonderfold's other wagons. They do have some less expensive wagons on the market as well. I plan to do a whole video comparing the Wonderfold wagon to my Vista Up-A-Baby double stroller. So stay tuned for that video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell notification so whenever that video becomes available, you will be notified. All right, I'll see you in the next video.